Good afternoon, SoCal BNI. Welcome to our Visitor Day Support webinar. This is week 1 in our 7-week series. We're going to go ahead and get started right away. I want to make sure we use great use of your time and get through all the information that we have to cover today. So we're going to jump right in with some quick housekeeping items. I'm going to keep all of our participants today on listen-only mode. However, if you do have questions, please feel free to go ahead and type those in on the control panel of the webinar. We definitely want to make sure that we have plenty of time to address any of the questions that you have about week 1 of the Visitor Day process. Also, under the handout section of the webinar control panel, you'll see that I've uploaded 4 different handouts for you. These are the 4 handouts that specifically go with the week 1 of the Visitor Day process. So as I go through the next couple slides here, you'll see that I reference the handouts. Feel free to go ahead and download them directly from here. That way you have them available. You don't have to go back and search for them in the future. Even if your chapter is not yet on week 1 of the process, you're welcome to go ahead and download those now. If you'd prefer, you're welcome to access them from BNI Connect. All of the most updated current documents will be uploaded by the end of today. So you're welcome to also pull these handouts and any of the other documents that I reference from the document section in BNI Connect. We are recording this webinar, so I do plan to provide it to other chapters that weren't able to participate today so that they have it to reference in the future. In addition, once a chapter notifies us of their scheduled Visitors Day, and it is the week 1 of the process, of the planning process, they will be entered into our Visitor Day Support email campaign. And once a week, all of the members will receive an email that is specifically related to the week that they're in the planning process of their Visitors Day. And with that email, there will also be the attachments that correspond with the week that they're on. So we're really trying to make this a lot more simple for our members to participate and engage in the Visitor Day process. So as I mentioned, we are today specifically focusing in on week 1 of the 7-week series. All of the other support webinars are already on the events calendar, so feel free to go ahead and pre-register for those so you've got those locked in, and we'd love to have you join us for all 7 of the weeks. The purpose of the webinars is really to make, as I mentioned, the Visitor Day process a little more simple for our members, especially our event coordinators. Most of them all go through the Visitor Day workshop. In fact, we really encourage at least 50% of our members for the chapters that are participating in a Visitor's Day to take part in one of those workshops. However, the event coordinator is the one responsible, and sometimes it is a team of a few people. They're responsible for moving the process forward. And so we want to hold their hand week by week and make sure that we give them the tools and resources as they need them. Because during the workshop, there is a lot of information covered, and sometimes they're going through the workshops a couple months before they're actually beginning the Visitor Day process. So we hope that this helps every single member, but especially those that are coordinating the Visitor Day, to give them that additional support so they can find great success. And as you know, the best way to eat an elephant is one bite at a time, so we're trying to break it down into steps that'll make it a much more enjoyable process while still achieving tremendous results. So let's go ahead and get moving right on through week 1. So as you'll notice, if you haven't yet attended the Visitor Day workshop yet for 2018, we have revamped the entire handbook. Much of the content has been updated, new and improved, a lot more support material, but we've really broken it down on the weekly schedule, identifying who should be presenting what material each week, along with referencing the various handouts. We want to make sure that the education coordinator, the event coordinator, the mentors, membership committee, that everybody's on the same page and that the message is consistent each week with what everyone else is doing on the team. So week 1, the education coordinator presentation should be focused on the personal prospect list. That is one of the handouts that's available to you right there in the webinar control panel, so feel free to go ahead and download that. The personal prospect list, right now, the way that it's uploaded is a Word document. And we've already gone ahead and added some of the most common classifications there just to get you thinking, to kind of jog your memory a little. However, what I encourage our members to do is to remove those and add the classifications that they specifically would like to focus on inviting for this event. So if there are 2, 3, 4 professions that you really want to focus on, then fill the personal prospect with the professions. You may want a CPA. You could have 10 lines for a CPA. Then you go out and find the people to invite. So this is the one time in BNI that we tell our members to think about themselves, be a little bit selfish when it comes to preparing your invitation list, as it's important you have the people that you want to be networking with in your group. You know, keep in mind givers gain. So it's important as you're preparing your personal prospect list that you're not only thinking about people that can provide you with referrals, but the people that you have referrals for as well. Just as a reminder, if you have a question as we're going along, feel free to go ahead and type them in. I will answer them either at the very end or as we go along if it fits in with the slide that we're covering. So week 1 for the event or growth and retention coordinator, I oftentimes get the question, who is the event coordinator? How do we select that person who serves in that capacity? I would say most often it is the growth and retention coordinator. However, that's not always the case. There are some instances where there's a member in the chapter that's either more passionate about kind of facilitating the visitor day process, or perhaps someone that's better suited for that position. So it doesn't have to be the growth and retention coordinator. The event coordinator with one of the chapters that I'm working with is actually the chapter president. So they're going to be spearheading the process. Whoever that is, whoever the event coordinator is, they'll be giving a presentation every week during the 6-week visitor day prep. And that presentation should be anywhere between 5 to 10 minutes. It can either be placed as the second keynote for the weekly meeting, or it could be also in place of the growth and retention moment. I think the best spot, and as I talk about a lot in our Visitor Day workshop, it's really best to have that presentation during the second keynote every week. So your visitors hear the message, they get excited about the chapter goals and that it's growing, but also if you do it during growth and retention, you've got some members that are outside of the room doing visitor orientation that will be missing out on the really important information that's shared. So during week 1, event coordinators should be delivering a presentation that's really focused on what the chapter goal and vision is for having a visitors day. How many visitors do we want to have? How many members do we want to add? What power partners are people going to be focusing on inviting? Who to invite? Who do we not invite? How to prepare the letters, and what are the various dates that the members will need to be aware of early in advance. We want to give them those expectations so that they can plan their schedule accordingly. They will be reviewing the 8-week schedule with the members during week 1's presentation. I have provided a copy of the 8-week schedule as one of the downloads on the handouts, so feel free to go ahead and pull that right now from the webinar if you'd like. And also, the event coordinator would want to let all of the members know on week 1 that they should be keeping an eye out for the weekly Visitor Day support email. Each week that will be going out, and it will include important reminders for the mentors, visitor hosts, leadership team, event coordinators, and it will also include an attachment to the weekly support webinars. So this will be a part of that email, and it will also include the attachments that are pertinent to that particular week. So during week 1, the mentors, they will be reaching out to all of their mentees to see if they have any questions, if they need assistance with meeting the expectation of the Visitors Day. Oftentimes, our mentors will also coordinate with their mentees to schedule a time for them to get together and perhaps work on their letters together, kind of make it a social event where they maybe meet at a member's office or someone's home and couple of them hand address the envelopes, others, pull the addresses for the mailing, that type of thing. So mentors on week 1, you're really going to be reaching out to help provide support and early on in the process see if there are any concerns that your mentees have so we can help them find success in participating with the Visitor Day process. Week 1 for the leadership team. They're going to definitely want to make sure that they've communicated with the director consultant regarding any leadership or support team positions that may need additional training. So perhaps your chapter may be a little light in the visitor host area. You would want to make sure you connect with your director right away, even before week 1 if you're aware of it, so that they can get a certification plan to get new visitor hosts trained. Same with mentors. Maybe if you're looking to add 10 new members, you're definitely going to want to make sure that you've got plenty of mentors that are not only willing, but that they have received the proper certification to provide a great mentorship for the new members. So if there are any gaps in your leadership or support team, communicate early, and this would be the leadership team doing this communication with their director to make sure they work with them to identify and then certify the people that need to step up to help fill some of those holes on the team. Week 1 for the secretary treasurer. So this week, during week 1 of the Visitor Day planning process, they will want to confirm that the director is placed on the schedule, the speaker schedule for the week prior to the Visitor Day. The director will come out the week prior to give the Visitor Day prep presentation, get everybody on board with the flow of the meeting, answer any last minute questions, and they will also be asking for some volunteers for some of the very important participation portions of the Visitor Day agenda. So the Secretary Treasurer will want to make sure they've got them on the speaker rotation for the week before Visitor Day, and they'll also want to confirm that the Visitor Day keynote has been scheduled through the regional office for the actual event. If your chapter is hosting a Visitor Day workshop, when we come out to provide that workshop, we'll be bringing you a packet of Visitor Day supplies. With that packet will be your new member applications, name badges, inviting postcards, and some various other supplies that our chapters typically use for Visitor Days. So if your chapter is doing the chapter hosted workshop, you guys will have that delivered the day of your workshop. If you're not doing a chapter hosted Visitor Day workshop, and perhaps your members are just attending various ones throughout the region, then as Secretary Treasurer, you'll want to make sure you plan well in advance during week 1 to get any supplies ordered through the regional office so that you have time to get those before the event. The director typically will be bringing the applications and general policies the day of your Visitor Day, unless you're doing a chapter hosted Visitor Day workshop. Then you'll receive those at the workshop. Week 1 of the Visitor Day planning process for the Visitor Day support email. As I mentioned, it will include the attachments that we've talked about today, and it will also include a link to this webinar so you can listen to it again if you need to reference it in the future. In addition to the personal prospect list and the Visitor Day 8-week schedule, also attached on the handouts, or I should say included in the uploads of the handout section of the control panel, you'll see the Visitor Day invitation letter. That's the invitation that members send out to invite for their Visitors Day. Make sure that at the top you'll see that it says place this on your letterhead. Before you place it on your letterhead, make sure that you actually remove that line and that you also fill in all of the blanks and you update the letter to include the date, meeting information that's specific for your chapter. I've also included the Visitor Day letter preparation information sheet. So one of the handouts that you'll see here is specifically giving you the guidelines and the recommendations for how to prepare those 40 letters to help generate the best response and results for your event. So those are the main things that we need to cover for week 1. Most of our chapters are going through a 6-week preparation. That's the minimum that we ever recommend for a visitor's day. However, we do have some chapters that are even planning further in advance. They may be, 8, 9, 10 weeks out from their visitor's day. We still invite you to participate in all of these webinars. As I mentioned, they're being recorded, so the information will be available later. However, this is a great opportunity for you to ask any specific questions if you may have them. So we love for you to participate in the weekly series that we'll be providing. If you have any questions, please feel free to go ahead and type them in. We're doing our best to keep these really short and brief, under 30 minutes. And we want that to include the question time. That way you can get the information and get back on with your busy days. So if there are any questions, feel free to go ahead and type them in. If you'd rather connect with me outside of the webinar, I invite you to send me an email. My email is Jenni, Jenni, @socalbni.com. Or you can also always use your director as a resource. They're going to be the best resource to support you, not only on a regular basis, but also throughout the visitor day process. So far, it doesn't look like we have any specific questions. I'll give a couple more seconds in case we have anybody typing questions in. We've got plenty of Visitor Day workshops on the schedule, so if you're on this webinar today and you have yet to attend it, I really encourage you to check out the schedule. I'd love to see you at one of our workshops. The workshops that we're hosting at the regional office are complimentary if you pre-register. So just as with our Member Success Program, as long as you pre-register, you will be paying the registration fee, but once you attend the workshop at the regional office, that will be returned to you. So if you're looking to save a little bit, we'd love to have you at the office and take advantage of the complimentary workshops that we have here. All right. Well, we got a comment, but no questions. One of our participants said that they love having this webinar as a tool for a successful Visitors Day. I'd love to hear that. I look forward to preparing the rest of them and sharing the information with you guys in those bite-sized pieces. I think that it will help to make the process much smoother. So thank you all for your participation today. I appreciate you taking time out of your busy day to be on this webinar with me. I look forward to seeing you at the workshops and on the future webinars. And in the meantime, if you have any questions, feel free to use any of us on the SoCal BNI Regional Support Team to help support you. And as I close out, just a reminder of our theme this year, and that's brightening futures. And we truly believe that your future is bright in BNI. So we look forward to some really successful visitor days this year, and much success in your business. Thanks for joining in today. Bye-bye.